Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we're taking a look at the Kronshtadt, or at least we're in the Kronshtadt, and this is a match that's going to go on the way, and it's going to end in us receiving, I think, one of the hardest medals to achieve in this game. So, and I think it's only like the third or fourth time I've ever been able to do it. So, if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you stay all the way to the end. And if you like these World of Warships videos, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. As you know, we're in Kronshtadt, and our commander today is going to be Azur Lane Aurora, the free Azur Lane commander when she came out, the one you had to do a couple of missions to get. One that I hadn't really used. This was my first match. Basically, same build as Kuznetsov, except of course, using her unique trait. Her unique trait is going to boost the damage of HE and AP shells at the cost of dispersion, which, you know, Kronshtadt already has questionable dispersion, given that it gets American battleship dispersion as opposed to typical cruiser dispersion. So you know, we're trading. You know, making our downside even bigger for a little boost in damage. You know, we wanted to see how this tried out. Also, additionally, this was the first match I personally had tried out IHAF, aka Equilibrium of Power. And, well, if you watched the review, and if you haven't already, I'll leave a link so you can go visit that review. But I end up recommending running IHAF on the ship. I think I'm the only one who's said that so far. I've been watching the other CC reviews. You know, it's been interesting because Kronshtadt is such a diverse ship, and it's such a wonky ship that everyone seems to have had different builds for it, which, you know, I'm here for. I love when we get ships that kind of show off weird and wonky things about it. Anyways, Suzuya has pushed in. We've managed to get a little bit of health off of him. We're just kind of trying to keep ourselves angled out here, keeping an eye on any shells coming in, trying to play this smart. We can see we do have a destroyer providing a good amount of spotting for us. He's been playing it nice and chill in the cap. Thankfully, we've gotten Suzuya knocked out, and now that we've done that, we're going to continue our HE rain of fire against these battleships out here. Also try to support our one battleship who has decided to sail quite in and get himself hit quite hard. Massachusetts. Good thing about us using HE, couple of things. One, when we come up against two secondary ships, or two very strong secondary ships, like Massachusetts, like Bismarck, you know, one of the knock-on effects of using HE over AP is we are going to slowly whittle down their available secondary mounts, and usually captains in those boats do like to spec into that sort of style of play, right? Because if you wanted to not have secondaries, then you'd usually pull out a different boat. But generally, if you're going to pull out Massachusetts, if you're going to pull out Bismarck, you're there for the secondaries, and therefore you're going to spec into the secondary. So one way to help counter that is just to pepper them with as much HE as possible. Like I said, we are using Equilibrium Power. This is like the first match I was using it, so I'm also just trying to test out, see what it can do, see if it is a viable build overall. We do get a nice fire there. Of course, Equilibrium Power does decrease the fire chance of the shells by 50%. So any fires that we can get, and especially if they can go ahead and stick and be permafires, are going to be beneficial to us. Now, if we look at the map, some good things are happening for us. One, as far as downed ships, we're about equal. You know, they've taken two battleships. We've taken a battleship and a cruiser. But more importantly, looking at the scoreboard, we are the only ones currently who have a capture point, and that is excellent. It looks like we're also taking C, which is exactly what we want. We want increased points income. We want to be able to start to get up on points, because points, I will say this over and over again, but it still doesn't get into some people's heads. Capture points, playing the objective, is so important in these games, because that is how you win, right? That at the end of the time, when the clock runs down, it doesn't matter who sunk how many ships if someone's alive and one team is up on points. So we can see we've kind of dissuaded the Massachusetts and the Bismarck from really pushing in. I think that's mainly up to our destroyer out here. I feel like we're kind of pressuring them with fire. We're kind of peppering them down, and then they're more immediately paranoid of our friendly destroyer, who is harassing and haranguing them with good old torpedo salvos. Of course, we get a double fire. We roll the double fire. We get the double fire, and of course, it won't be a Burma fire, but that's okay. We can attempt to do this again. We're trying to check our angle, see if we can get this Bismarck. Also, just trying to relocate, get up, push closer, try to get the AP to be a little bit more effective. Of course, Russian AP, very, very powerful. So if you can get it within range, it's usually a good time. But also, we kind of just want to be cautious because, well, Bismarck secondaries, he can still do some fairly good damage to us with those. We can see Destroyer has kind of gone a flank of him and is going to throw torpedoes in his hidey hole. Props on the Bismarck for trying to push in and take A, recognizing that, you know, his team needed to take A while the Massachusetts had kind of blundered off into B to do whatever he wanted out in B. But you know, props to his Bismarck. We're trying to push in just to make sure we prevent the capture, or at least contest it. That way they don't, if they, you know, that way they don't win, or they don't flip it and then we start losing points. And of course, Kagero, nice hits on the Bismarck there. Of course, our double fire earlier means his damage con is still on cooldown, so he is going to tick down and flood over time now, which is exactly what we want. Massachusetts, we kind of don't need to worry about Bismarck anymore. We can go ahead and trying to start engage this, or at least I thought we didn't have to worry about the Bismarck, and then I guess his damage control party reset. I was like, oh, we don't have to worry about this guy. You know, we do. So Kagero's gonna do his best to try to eliminate the Bismarck. We're gonna go ahead and provide the helping hand. We know the Kagero can't see him, but we can go ahead and try to provide spotting on the Bismarck. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Use our one radar. Not that there's any destroyers on the enemy team, so we might as well provide the helping hand to our Kagero. You know, he's done so well providing us an eye into the battlefield. We might as well try to spot back and be that team player where we can. And then August von Parzival comes out of nowhere. I don't know. I don't know what this Parzival was thinking. Maybe he thought, you know, oh, A's going to be clear. There hasn't been really pressure in his back area. Maybe he just accidentally hit the forward button. You know, sometimes you just tap A. Or maybe he just, you know, had to go get dinner and wanted. I don't know. Anyways, August von Parzival begins the charge on us, and we will happily take the free points that he's giving us via just the lack of armored ship coming nearby. So we're going to go ahead, engage him, and also just keep an eye on the mini-map. Of course, as far as the match goes, it is fairly close at the moment. Ships are nearly even, and, you know, we have a diversity of ships. They have nearly all battleships, which, you know, can be a good thing, can be a bad thing, but it may not turn out too well for us. We're just trying to find the Citadel right here, of course, aiming right at the waterline to see if we can go ahead and do something. You know, when you're this close, overpens are pretty much everything. And we can see torpedoes coming in for Parzival right here. I think those are going to end up knocking him out. Yep, those knock him out. We're up to 100,000 damage, and we're going to go ahead and start trying to push in, but kind of be cautious, because right now we are up on points. We are tied on ships, but the enemy fleet definitely has a better position compared to our team. But we're gonna try, do what we can, see if we can sink a couple of their ships. We can see Donskoy sitting relatively broadside. We want to set the fires. I think we flip over to AP relatively soon. He drops off the radar. We see Izumo, which, you know, Yamato-esque hull, so maybe we can go ahead and cause some damage to him with our HE. Like I said, this match was going to be a bunch of just trying out the HE. We get absolutely slapped there, and when that happens, we're like, okay, time for us to retreat, especially with the Musashi over there. We're up on points. We're only down to 3 ships, and our last battleship not looking like he's gonna make it, being surrounded on forward and aft by the enemy. So we are going to install what is called a tactical retreat. And by that, I mean recognizing that, 1, there are 4 minutes left in this match. It takes about a minute to take a point. We are currently over 100 points up. Of course, that is going to shift when we lose. But if we can go ahead and, well, stay out of the way, drop spot, kind of harass these ships, we can probably take one more salvo from the enemies. But we are going to start running away. Because at this point, the way to win is going to be to sail for the border. So we take one salvo from the Musashi there. We're kind of hoping Donskoy decides to engage again, because if we can sink the Donskoy, that'll help swing points in our favor. We can see we are still accumulating points. One good thing, enemy team, they have all the battleships nearly, so they're all kind of slow, lumbering, and it could take them a while to get into points. Of course, we fire our guns. Everyone's looking and ready for us, so we're going to try to dodge, have the armor take what it can, and we're down to 2,000 health. And at this point, no more fire in the guns. We are strictly going for the sail for the map border strategy at this moment, because, well, as you can see, we can't really engage anyone anymore, and we only have 2 minutes remaining. We're up 60 points. They're going to capture C. Right after that, we will capture B. If we can go ahead and maintain that, we'll easily win. Right? We are going to be well ahead of time. I am trying to get to a point where I might be able to fire over these things. I'm just always paranoid that we're not quite in the concealment that we think we are. But yeah, we're like, okay, I think we're good right here. See if we can get a fire, see if we can get some damage on the Musashi, maybe force him to proc his damage con, and then we can let the destroyer get a permaflood. Just trying to make it just so that we delay them as much as possible. Of course, this destroyer has gone into B. At this point, I don't know if he really wanted me to turn back, because at this point, I'm like, I'm committed to the cause, guy. We're sailing out of here. We want to avoid them as much as possible. And he's going to kind of stay in the cap. While it's contested, I think he starts to kind of get out of there. But even then, we are now well over 100 points up from the enemy team. So even if they sink the destroyer, the swing in points there isn't going to be 100 points. So and we've now passed the point where they have a minute, so they can't really capture B. Multiple of them can get in. They get it down to 30 seconds. But at this point, we've won. As long as we don't die, we have 100% won this match. Like I said, as long as we don't do something stupid. And that's the thing. You have to kind of keep an eye on the scoreboard. You have to keep an eye on the time, because there are moments where, we could have tried to push in. We could have tried to be a bit of an idiot about this. But if we did, we would not be winning this match at the end of the day. Massachusetts ends up taking down the Kagero, which leaves us as the last person standing. We're going to go ahead and fire our shells, because there's no way shells can impact us by the end of the match, even if they fire immediately. And that gets us the Solo Warrior. I think one of the hardest medals to get in the game. But guys, that's the Solo Warrior in the Kronshtadt. What did you think? Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.